It is 6 p.m. here in Cairo. My name is Ahmed Nader, and now it's time for the news bulletin. And I'm honored to be having with me today as a colleague is Lubna Yahya. Hello, Lubna.
Hello, Ahmed. Hello, dear viewers. We're going to be starting away with the headlines.
The Arab Parliament Speaker Mohammed El Yamehi said that the region's security and stability is closely linked with the establishment of an independent Palestinian state, which grants the Palestinians full sovereignty over the land. Marking the 36th anniversary of the Palestinian independence document, the Arab lawmaker called on the international community and the United Nations Security Council to provide all sorts of diplomatic and political support to protect the Palestinian people. He cited the tragic conditions the Palestinians enduring, given the continued Israeli occupation, siege and escalatory moves in the occupied Palestinian territories, particularly in the Gaza Strip, which is reeling from more than a year of genocide, war and ethnic cleansing, targeting civilians and infrastructure. El Yamehi renewed the Pan-Arab body's complete support of the Palestinian people's legitimate rights, the forefront of which is the creation of a Palestinian state with its capital, Eastern Jerusalem, along the international laws.
The Israeli occupation forces continued pounding the Gaza Strip, leaving 5 Palestinians martyred in 2 airstrikes on Bethlehem. Earlier, several Palestinians were killed and wounded in Israeli occupation raids in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. Separately, 3 others were killed in an Israeli occupation strike in Sheikh Radwan neighborhood in southwestern Gaza City. And elsewhere, the Israeli occupation strikes hit a number of areas in the west of Jabalia's refugee camp in the north of Gaza. The Palestinian Health Ministry said that 43,763 Palestinians.
A senior Hamas official said that the resistance group was ready for a ceasefire in Gaza and urged the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump to pressure the Israeli occupation to end the genocide war. Hamas political bureau member Bassem Naim said that the group informed truce mediators that it is in favor of any proposal submitted to it that would lead to a definitive ceasefire and military withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, allowing the return of the displaced people, a serious deal for prisoner exchange, as well as the entry of humanitarian aid and reconstruction across the Strip. The demands are the same ones Hamas had made in successive rounds of ceasefire negotiations since the start of the genocide war, now in its 14th month. On the campaign trail, Trump promised peace in the Middle East.
An Israeli occupation strike hit a building on the edge of Beirut's southern suburbs near a central park in the city. Eyewitness said that the strike followed about 15 minutes after an evacuation warning for the area, which is a densely packed neighborhood that includes residential apartment buildings, businesses, and a police center. Meanwhile, an Israeli occupation airstrike flattened a building near one of Beirut's busiest traffic junctions, shaking the Lebanese capital as the occupation military kept up its bombardment of Hezbollah-controlled areas of the city. The escalation this week has coincided with the indications of movement in U.S.-led diplomatic contacts towards ending the conflict.
Syrian state-run media said that the Israeli occupation struck the upscale Mezze district of Damascus today, the second such attack in as many days to hit the neighborhood home to embassies, security headquarters and the United Nations offices. As the attacks intensify against the backdrop of the war in Lebanon, Israeli occupation strikes in and around Damascus killed 23 people. The strike on Mezze killed 13 people, including civilians, while an attack on the outskirts of Damascus killed 10 Palestinians.
The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency warned that the space for negotiation and diplomacy is getting smaller over Iran's advancing atomic program as wars in the Mideast rage on and as President Donald Trump will return to the White House. Rafael Mariano of the IAEA was visiting Tehran in an effort to restore his inspectors' access to Iran's program and answer still outstanding questions over it, as he has on previous trips with limited success since Trump unilaterally withdrew the U.S. from Iran's nuclear deal with world powers. The remarks from both Grossi and his Iranian counterpart at a news conference suggested sizable gaps still exist, even as some countries are pushing to take action against Iran at an upcoming IAEA Board of Governors meeting.
The U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has promised a strong military as he repeated his pledge to end the war between Russia and Ukraine. Trump, who campaigned on an America-first foreign policy, has said previously that he wanted to strike a deal between Kyiv and Moscow without giving details and end the bloodshed in the Middle East. Trump's re-election has the potential to upend the almost three-year conflict between Russia and Ukraine, throwing into question Washington's support for Kyiv, which is crucial to its defense.
The UN warned that renewed Russian targeting of Ukraine's already devastated energy infrastructure this winter could cause severe hardship and spur new mass movements of people. Earlier, a Russian air attack struck a residential building and energy installations in and near Ukraine's Black Sea port of Odessa, killing 1 person and injuring 10, and knocking out a boiler plant used for heating. Separately, Ukraine's Air Force said that it shot down 25 out of 29 drones and 1 of 2 guided missiles launched by Russia during an overnight attack.
And North Korea said that it tested exploding drones designed to crash into targets, and leader Kim Jong-un called for accelerating mass production of the weapons. The details follow.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has ordered the mass production of attack drones as concerns mount over the country's deepening military cooperation with Russia. Pyongyang first unveiled its attack drones in August, with experts saying the capability may be attributable to the country's budding alliance with Russia. The nuclear-armed country has ratified a landmark defense pact with Moscow and is accused of deploying thousands of troops to Russia to support its war in Ukraine, prompting South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol to warn about the potential transfer of sensitive Russian military technology to North Korea. The Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, said Kim oversaw the tests of drones designed to hit both land and sea targets produced by North Korea's unmanned aerial technology complex. The unmanned drones are designed to carry explosive and deliberately crash into enemy targets, effectively acting as guided missiles. The latest test saw the drones precisely hit targets after flying along predetermined paths. Kim said the North had recently attached importance to developing unmanned hardware systems and to integrate them with the country's overall military strategy. Chairman of the General Authority for the Suez Canal Economic Zone, Walid Gamal-Eddin, reviewed with an American delegation means to enhance joint cooperation in the industrial and trade fields. During the meeting, Walid Gamal-Eddin presented the potentials of the economic zone, which enables it to attract foreign investments in various fields. He also presented Egypt's vision to optimize the benefit of the economic zone's unique location and the state's plan to upgrade the infrastructure in line with international standards. In addition to a plan for a strategic integration between the industrial and logistic zones.
Oil prices fell on worries of the higher output amid sluggish global demand. Brent crude futures eased 0.62% to $71.83 a barrel, while the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures shed 0.7% to $67.95. Crude oil rebounded after hitting to the lowest in 2 weeks after OPEC cut the forecast for the global oil demand growth this year and next, highlighting weaknesses in China and some other regions.
Minister of Youth and Sports Dr. Ashraf Sobhi and Governor of North Sinai, Major General Khalid Megawer, launched the Flame of the Border Governorates Olympics in its 5th edition, which is held under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. During the event, Dr. Ashraf Sobhi said that the Olympics are in line with Egypt's Vision 2023, which aims to providing a platform to discover and develop sports talents, enhancing awareness of the sport's importance in role achieving comprehensive development, and supporting social integration among different groups, including people with disabilities. For his part, Major General Khalid Megawer pointed out to the importance of North Sinai hosting youth major events, praising the wide participation that reflects the spirit of unity and integration among Egypt's youth.
And Bayern Munich midfielder João Palhinha will miss Portugal's upcoming Nations League games against Poland and Croatia with a groin injury. Bayern said that Palhinha will travel back to Munich for further treatment. Bayern next plays Augsburg at home in the Bundesliga on November the 22nd before hosting Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League 4 days before it visits Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga. Palhinha's absence could give Leon Goretzka another chance to make an impression. And this brings us to the end of the news bulletin for today. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Lubna.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.